I'd like to welcome all of our families tonight to our Family University. I know that there are plenty of other things that you could be doing, and we are so excited to have you here tonight. Before we begin, I want to go ahead and give you an overall agenda of what you will expect tonight. We have pizza, cookies, juice, and water to begin with, because we have to start with dinner, of course. In a few moments, I'm going to allow you to go through the serving line where Mr. Kuhn is. Mr. Kuhn wave. And he's the principal of Canto Middle School, and we appreciate him letting us use his facility. So that's where we will get our pizza, and we will go back to our tables. At 7 o'clock, we will end dinner, and we will tell you about our sessions. You will be able to choose one of 3 sessions tonight. The first one you can choose from will be in the cafeteria, and it's called Digital Learning, Digital Resources. Our hope is to share our digital curriculum resources so that you can help your child at home. The second session will be on digital citizenship, otherwise known as social media safety. And it's our hope that we can give you some tools and some dialogue, conversations to have with your child at home so that your child can be safe utilizing all of the internet tools at their fingertips every day. The third session we have is how to utilize Skyward. If you have not logged on to Skyward, we will walk you through that process, and we will also help you learn how to use that portal to look at your child's grades and other school information. So those are the 3 sessions we'll have tonight. At 7 o'clock, after we finish dinner, we will go over them more at length, and then you can choose your session and we'll tell you where to go. With that, before we start, I would like to recognize several people who've made this evening possible. If you are here from our district office and or another school site, please stand up. I'd like to recognize all of our teacher leaders, our district support. We could not do this event without all of these people. So I want to thank you and welcome them. Once again, I'd like to thank the Canto Middle School, not only Mr. Kuhn, his custodians, his leadership team. They really have been great at helping us as well. With that, we do have a couple of people I would like to introduce. We have a Citrus County School Board member, Ginger Bryant. Welcome. Mr. Gangler, for always being so supportive of our events and making sure he captures every moment. We'll introduce all of our wonderful facilitators later at 7 o'clock. And right now, I would like to introduce Mrs. Sam Himmel, our superintendent. She would like to welcome you all this evening.
Good evening. I'd like to also say welcome and thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate your support. We tell everybody across the state that we are successful in our district. We're one of the highest rated districts in the state of Florida, and it's because of the support from our community and our parents, and we thank you for that. So congratulations to you all and our students. To all of our students tonight, thank you all for coming, and I see how excited you are, and they always put Miss Himmel right before dinner, because that way I can't talk very long. But this began when Shonda Burdette and I had a conversation, because many of our parents were saying to us from our SAC committees, from other meetings we go to, that some of them need helping their students with homework, some of the digital resources that we have. So we hope that tonight we're able to provide you some things that maybe you didn't know, or things that you did know, and we were able to expand on your knowledge. So thanks again for coming. To all of our school staff, thank you all for being here tonight. Tonight you will hear from some of our experts, because I do believe that we have the best of the best. So thank you all for being here.
And my name is Trish Douglas. I am the coordinator of Title I. I will be here all through the evening if you have any questions. And with that, we can go ahead and get our pizza, and at 7 o'clock we will reconvene. Thank you.
So we started with 3 questions. What do you expect to learn from this session? What questions do you have about digital citizenship? And then obviously your name if you'd like. So let's take a look at some of these questions, because I feel like the biggest part of any kind of PD, whether it's PD is professional development or parent talk, or sitting down together, is what can we get out of it, and what can we is it useful for us? Because if we just sit here and talk about stuff that's really of no use, then really what's the point? So one question we had is, how much access do my kids have to the internet, and who can gain access to the device? Well, the access to the internet is blocked by our firewall system that we have. It's through a program called iBoss. as well as an MDA, which is a mobile device management system that we use called AirWatch. And with all the iPads, whether it's in elementary, middle, or high school, the devices are blocked to the internet access portal, so to speak, that we have at school. So when you're at home, the kids get on the device and they log in. They can't just go wherever they want on your internet the way you do on your devices. They are filtered through our filters automatically. So that's a very big benefit that a lot of one-to-one districts don't have. The other question is, who's responsible for damage and is there insurance? Currently, we do not have insurance for our devices in the district. It's an option that the district has talked about and thought about. Other districts do have insurance out there for devices. However, what ends up happening is the deductible as well as the monthly fee ends up being more than the cost of a cracked screen, which is about 80% of the time the damage that occurs with the device. Student drops it, has a cracked screen. It's about $75 to $100 to replace that, depending on if it's an iPad Air or if it's an iPad 4, the two devices that we have going through our schools with our students right now. How to protect my child from entering sites that are harmful to them? Well, that's a great question. I think we'll get into that a lot through this session, but the biggest thing is to open the communication. If we have the expectation that our students will get onto digital media and understand from day one what and how to interact, we're making a mistake. The same way that we would have that same mistake if we just expected our little ones to walk into the real world and understand immediately how to interact with people. That would be ludicrous if we said that. We have to have that same mindset with the digital world. They need to know how to greet someone. They need to know how to hold a conversation. They need to know what's okay to say and what's not okay to say. Because I will tell you from my experience working in middle school, working in high schools, and working with elementary school teachers, when kids get behind a keyboard, they've got the truth serum. They've got the brave juice. They're willing to say whatever they want at any time because they feel like nobody can track them down and they can't be hurt from there. And a lot of that is false, as we deal with on a daily basis in the middle school. And what is digital citizenship? Well, digital citizenship is really online, the ability for us as parents to have the conversation with students so that they understand what's okay and what's not okay online. And that encompasses everything from password protection to copyright infringement to social media safety and everything in between. It's not one thing, it's every way that our children interact online and how they share with each other and how they share with adults. So here's a question, what is a digital footprint? And a digital footprint is the amount of information on the internet about you or your child. For our children today, they're much different than we are. Today, we are digital immigrants, so to speak, where we inherited this information as we grew. We didn't have this from the day we were born. But our children, most likely, have had a Facebook picture or a Twitter or a tweet or an Instagram post about them from the day they were born. Someone shared it somewhere, whether it was through an email or whether it was through a social media website or whether it was just in somebody's phone and then sent out through a text. There's a digital footprint for every single student in this county, I would bet, save for one or two. And so tracking that and being purposeful in how we mold that digital footprint. And instead of it just going out like anywhere and doing whatever they want, but really being purposeful and saying, okay, is this really going to help you long term if you say this? Just like if you're in an interview or if you're in a one-to-one, face-to-face situation, how would you speak? That same mentality. And what's going on with the digital community? Well, that's a great question. A lot of things are going on with the digital community. It's growing. In Citrus County especially, we have gone from one grade level of iPads in 7th grade at Citrus Springs Middle School to every grade in middle school to 2 grades of iPads at the primary school to now at one primary school to every primary school having 2 grades of iPads, now high school having 9th grade, and I believe, and Dr. Geddes, you can correct me on this, the plan is by next year to be 3rd through 12th? That's the plan. Well, whether we get there or not, there's a lot of things that get in the way of those things.
And how much of the class is actually done on the iPad?
Well, for me, and that's different for every teacher, and that's a great question. For me, it's everything. We are completely paperless, and I can speak for Mr. Subenborg, Mr. Koch, Ms. Papritsky, Pavshitsky.
Now, is it completely paperless from third grade on?
It's completely paperless for my 8th grade ELA class.
Okay, 8th grade I can understand.
Right.
But
Now,
I would have a problem with my third grade student not writing.
oh, right, obviously, and it's built in the
You're
standards.
gonna fill out a job application, most people still have
Right.
paper applications.
Well, and it's funny that you bring that up because,
Because I got nieces and nephews that are in high school right now
Yeah.
doing this, and this is all they're doing,
yeah,
and they can't write cursive.
right,
Now, I blame that on their parents, but I also blame that on the school too, because
Right.
the school's supposed to teach that too.
right. Well, one of the great things that we have through this device is something called Notability. And in Notability, we have the function to type as well as write. So each student at Lecanto Middle School gets a stylus, and we encourage our students to do both. So I've got notes on my screen. My students will take a picture of my notes, and then they'll annotate it with their pen, marking it up. Then they turn that into me. If I can't read what they've written, then I turn it back to them. Okay, now is penmanship a part of the standards I'm teaching? No, but it's an essential component because, as you said, preparing them for the real world, they need to know how to legibly write things. So we still work that into our iPad devices, even though it's a digital piece. There's still that writing component.
In fact, you might want to define what paperless really is. I mean,
That's a good question.
There's still paper going on in the classroom. It's basically the point of when does paper become the exchange agent of
Right.
turning work in and not turning work in.
Instead of my students taking a worksheet or something from me and writing it with pen and then turning it back in, that's all done electronically.
Right.
We still do many posters and different graphics. They make movies. They have pieces of written text in those videos and things from time to time. So there's still very much a component of writing involved. It's just incorporated into the digital environment.
Right, and all that stuff paperless.
Right, for me. All right, so what I'd like you to do on your iPad, if you could go ahead and swipe it.
You're going to go ahead and we need to make sure everybody's in. You're going to put your name and push send. Go ahead and push your name and push send. No, you don't want that. No, no, no. It'll just go like here. We're not going to display that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, right.
Remember? Yeah. And then all you do is swipe it.
So one thing that is really neat, and I kind of caught myself because I'm so used to presenting through a projector, is this app called Nearpod. And what you have in front of you, if you were able to get the device open, is a presentation that we have created. Ms. Beshipsky created it, and we're going to go through it. Now, you are all locked into this presentation. You can't deviate from this presentation unless you leave the app, and if you leave the app or the web page, it tells me on my screen. So Cynthia leaves the app, I can say, Cynthia, you need to get back on task, please. It tells me right away. So the first question is, how can I be a good digital citizen? And really what that's all about is about being a good citizen. So as I swipe to the next slide, it swipes there automatically. And you can see here's a collage that your daughter...
And the reason why I put this in here is because as schools, this is actually in the bulletin board at our school, at Citrus Springs Middle School, is that we are trying to educate the children as well of what does it mean to be a good digital citizen.
Because, like we can see, this is a very important topic, and we are very passionate about, but not a lot of parents understand what it is. And so they think maybe I don't really need it, or maybe my grades or something is a little bit more important. But I can assure you that your children, if you have told them they can't be online, they're online. And whether you like it or not, they're interacting with each other. Now, maybe not in the elementary grades, but by the time they hit 6th grade, that discussion about how to act and how to interact online has got to happen because they're going to do it with or without you. I was the dean at Inverness Middle School for 2 years, and while I was there, I saw a lot of scary things. And I don't say these things because I want you to shut the door on social media for your children because, like you said before, as we prepare them for life, we know that jobs, colleges are using social media as a way to vet our students and our children. And really, it's more frightening for a college or for a employer to see an absence of a social media presence or digital footprint than it is to see one that is maybe a little troublesome at points. Everyone acts out in 7th grade. Everyone. It's just the way it is. We are all going through the hormone changes of everyday life. So there's going to be issues. But if they get on there and they search your child's name and there's nothing there, what do they have to hide? is the question that we are starting to hear from universities and from businesses as we connect with them, saying, how can we better prepare the next generation workforce? So using technology appropriately is a very important aspect of digital citizenship. One thing is to set up strong passwords. One of the biggest problem areas that I've seen working with students is that they share their passwords so easily and so quickly. Something that in their mind is no big deal, but ends up being a very big issue down the road. At IMS, I had a student, she shared her password, the girl was friend, and just like in 7th grade, they're best friends one week, they're enemies the next week, and now that friend took over the Facebook page and posted very, very inappropriate things, as if she had said all this stuff.
So now they're going to have access to Facebook?
Not through the school, but through their cell phones. So the schools they have no access through Facebook through the schools.
Okay, so they can't get on Facebook with this?
Correct,
Okay.
unless they bypass our filters, which is possible, but when it happens, we get an alert to our assistant principals who call the kids in and immediately give them a consequence and notify the parent.
Right.
So this conversation is not so much about what happens on the school device, but what happens when the students are on their phones, on the internet at home. So this student then had to deal with all of the carnage, really, that occurred after the fact, because this girl went on and said something about this friend and this friend and this friend and this friend, and about how much she hated everyone, and it caused a big issue. We had another student who faked her own suicide using social media because her parents didn't know she had an account and because she never talked to their parents about it. So she thought it would be smart to create an account of a fake person and have this communication back and forth, and then go through this whole ordeal of pretending to be in a hospital and all this other things. Our students were a mess. They even had a day where they all wore blue in support of this person. And then it turns out that it was all fake. So it was worse after the fact because the girl had to come back and face all those kids that she had lied to. And she had no idea it would be this big of an issue. Why? Because there wasn't that open dialogue with anyone, whether it be a staff member at school or a parent at home, about the dangers of this stuff.
I gotta tell you honestly, it's just starting to sound like with something like that, social media is not the best thing to be introducing in school. Especially if the school can ban cell phones, ban them.
Well, and that's exactly.
Then you don't have any of that.
Well, and here's the thing. Facebook, the kids can get on Facebook at 3:30 as soon as they get home, and they can connect with their friends.
But as a parent, you should be able to go, you're not getting on Facebook until I'm home.
Exactly, and that's exactly the conversation that we need to have as parents,
Right.
With our neighbors, with people at church, with people in the community, to say, this is what I do.
Right.
I'm not telling you how to parent, but this is how I deal with my children.
You say it's possible to bypass the filters on these. It is possible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And kids are smart, and kids are getting smarter.
Yes, they are.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a kid that goes, you know what? I'm going to give everybody access to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's on the internet and this, and nobody's saying anything. They can bypass it to where it doesn't alert you.
Well, that's not true.
That is true, because I have a friend of mine that actually did it. He goes to school in Tampa, and he's 16. I'm friends with his father. This is now, you can get on anything.
And we aren't alerted to it?
Not alerted to it.
So then that's something that we need to know about as a school so that we can notify
That's
our
why that's
MDM.
why I think that introducing this is just another way to dumb down our children, because you're giving them a screen to stare at. Okay? There's no social interaction with other people. Everything's this now. You know, if I wanted to send my kids to school to stare at a screen all day, I'd keep them home and homeschool them.
Right.
There you go, get on a computer, homeschool.
Well, I can assure you that the kids are not sitting and staring at that screen all day long. That's a resource they utilize similar to their textbook.
Right,
So
but
the
they
same
get
way-
enough of this at home,
Right.
and then I'm gonna send them to school for 8 hours to do this?
Well, instead of carrying 5 or 6 textbooks around, they can carry a device that they can utilize to enrich their experience in learning, to be able to do things that they never could do. Really, it's redefining the way that teaching and learning is taking place, because no longer is it strictly read a page, take the notes, take a test, but now it's take this information from multiple sources. That's real world sources, Do your
Right.
time.
Like I said, I can understand this in high school, because high school, when I was in high school, I was a little more responsible with things. And you're right, when I was in middle school, hey, I was a jackass like the rest of them. I got in so much trouble, it was unreal. I had to take the 8th grade over, And then this in middle school and primary school is gonna be nothing but a problem. And if I had my way, I wouldn't have my kids with this at all. I would stick them with a pencil and a book and make them carry that 20-pound backpack to every class, because you know what? It helped me, and it made me a better person in high school, and it made me buckle down. It made me realize.
Well, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. What we have to kind of focus on is how has data improved since the delivery of the device.
Right. So don't get me wrong, I go to school in Ashford University online.
Yeah.
So I understand being able to pull sources from the internet anywhere, having sources everywhere. I understand that, that's awesome. But as far as middle school kids,
Right.
and preschool and primary school kids, having these and then charging parents $75 to $100 when an 8-year-old drops it or knocks it off the desk, I'm sorry, but the first one my kid breaks by accidentally bumping off the desk, I'm not paying it.
Well, and that's something that you can deal with the school where your child's at, and
Yeah.
as that goes, obviously.
Yeah, they go
but-
here, so.
And one thing I'm going to interject and go to the next slide. The reason why we're actually doing this as a Nearpod lesson is because this is how the students are going to learn. As in,
Yeah.
they're not just going to be opened up with a textbook. This is an engaging lesson. One of my students love when I do Nearpod. They're able to see visuals. They need to know certain concepts. I'm a civics teacher.
Right.
High content in 7th grade. Vocabulary. How am I going to engage them? So because at home, what are they looking at? So why
exactly.
not in the classroom bring it out right now? They can see a picture with set up strong passwords and locks.
Right.
So then they can have a visual with it. And then you can keep going. So technology
Like I
is a
said,
tool.
I completely understand in the higher grades. But you start getting in the 6th grade, you're still a knothead. In the 7th grade, you're still a knothead. 8th grade, now you're getting ready to go into high school. You have a little more responsibility about yourself, and you take care of yourself, and you want to, you start realizing who you are and what you are as a person, and you realize you start taking care of yourself. Well, when you start taking care of yourself, you start taking care of your things.
Well, and that's what digital citizenship is about too,
Right.
is that we're
I just think that it's
teaching,
being introduced a little too early.
showing the bulletin
And you're
board.
entitled to your opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
We respect that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to convince her. I'm not here preaching saying this is the way, it's got to be this
Oh,
way.
I know,
you know what
I
I mean?
know.
I think it's important that we have open dialogue as
Yeah.
a team, because that's what we are. Teachers and parents working together for the success of all of our students. So I would be remiss if I didn't allow you or encourage your discourse, to
Right.
be able to have this conversation. Because I
Believe me,
feel like, I
think
hope
it's
at
an
least.
awesome idea.
Yeah.
I just think that in the 3rd grade and 4th grade, that's just too soon.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So, we really need to encourage that our students are setting these strong passwords and keeping them secure. Also, you wouldn't share your toothbrush, so why are you sharing those passwords? I mean, again, visuals that we give our students so they help understand a little bit deeper where we're going. One of the major concepts that students don't understand or they don't get is the fact that whatever goes online is permanent. Unfortunately, too often today, students are sharing aspects of their personal life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, without the guidance of a parent or a loved one. And that's one of the major points that I want to impart to you guys, is that our children, by the time they get to 7th grade, are going to have a cell phone most likely. And if they don't, they're going to take their friend's cell phone and use it to do things that we would not be happy about. Depending on the household and the philosophy, we deal with it in different ways. But it is imperative to sit down now with, a daughter your age and say, you are beautiful, you are perfect the way you are, you don't need to show anything to anyone to get your approval. And when we post images on our Facebook pages or on all our social media, hey, do you look okay? Are you okay with this picture before I post it? How do you think? What if we did this? And having these open conversations, and then vice versa. Having them, when they post a picture of a family get together, and before they post it online, they come say, hey Dad, listen, I'm going to post this. Are you okay with this real quick before I put it out there? Because it is permanent. It is forever. And if we instill that conversation now when they're younger, then when they get older and they're taking the selfie in the bathroom, in their bathing suit, and they say, hey mom, I'm going to post this, is that okay? No, and here's why. Okay? And really reinforcing it, because I know you think, everyone thinks not my daughter, not my son, but I assure you, NJHS members, National Junior Honor Society members, straight A students, Christian families, religious families that would never think that their children get involved in these things are tricked to get involved in these things. And it's sad and scary, and I would hate for you guys to have to face this. So if you can get in front of it, all the better. Keep it clean. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You would not believe the lack of filter our students have. In the hallways here, if you could sit in a middle school and listen to the things that they say in the hallways when they think no one is listening, and that goes double to what they say online, it's about a lack of communication. How are we talking at home when we think our kids aren't listening? And how are we monitoring what they're listening to or viewing online? And how about, are we talking about why it's appropriate and why it's not? I'll tell you, for me, I'm busy. I've got a lot going on. When I don't want my daughter to see something or say something, I'll say, hey, stop it, don't do that. And then I move on. I gotta make dinner, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I got a thing to do tonight. Instead of saying, don't do that, and here's why. And I think if we have that conversation together and we start having that openly, saying, well, you even hear it out with a friend or a family member. Well, have you ever talked about why you don't want them to do that? Because maybe if you told them why, maybe they'd be a little, more cautious about it in the future. Instead of just saying, stop that, don't do that, I don't want to do that. Kind of just like what we're doing. You're saying, hey, this is why I don't like it, this is what I don't like about it, and here's why. Instead of just saying, nope, I'm not doing it. Because I get parents like that all the time. And what do? Hey, it is what it is.
Right.
But having that background helps us understand how we can improve the system so that we're all happy together. I love that Ms. Paprisky keeps doing that.
It's all right.
Put this in the presentation. Think of your words like put online like toothpaste. Once it's out, it's almost impossible to get it back in. Kids will get angry, they'll fume, they'll say things they don't mean, and then we'll see it, and it'll come back out, and the person, boy, girl, whatever, sees it, and it can't go away. And they've destroyed a relationship because of a rant they went on, instead of taking their time to think through what they're saying. Because they just don't get the fact that you and I can talk, and then I can say I'm sorry, and you can hear the intonation of my voice, you can see my face, you can tell if I'm joking or if I'm not joking. Online you can't. It just comes out however the reader reads it. So perception is 100% reality in the digital world. Think before you click. Obviously, you don't go places where you're not supposed to go. If your parents tell you not to go on Facebook, don't go on Facebook. And here's why. Again, basically everything on the internet that is about you, your digital footprint, may include photos, audio, videos, blog posts, and posts you write on friends' pages. Every time you go online, you leave a trail. Have a look in the history section of your web browser, and you can see the visited pages you visited in the past. There's a great resource out there called commonsensemedia.org, and it is a non-religious review site. So, say a new video game comes out. I don't know, I don't play a lot of video games because don't play video games. I don't know if this is appropriate for my student or not. He can handle some things, he can't handle other things. How do I know this is for them? Common Sense Media has a review page that tells step by step the different reasons why it got the rating it got. And a lot of times online, and this is okay for some people, it's not okay for me, I'm not into it, it has a religious spin on it. Well, this doesn't. Movies that come out. Oh, Goosebumps. I've got an 8-year-old. She wants to go see Goosebumps. Is Goosebumps appropriate for my 8-year-old? It's a kid's movie, you know what I mean? Or is it a little too scary, or maybe some innuendo there that I really don't want her to be exposed to? Common Sense Media gives you a free review from our standpoint about what it is that we're looking for. As well as it gives great question starters, family discussions, as well as resources that you can utilize to teach step by step just what we would teach at school about digital citizenship. The lessons that I do in my ELA class once or twice a month, where we break from the curriculum and we talk about digital citizenship, those same lessons are given for you guys to do at home. Everyone should be monitoring their digital footprint over time. your footprint will get bigger. Things to keep in mind about your footprint. Don't post anything you wouldn't want your blank to see. And these are great question stems that you can talk to your kids about. You know, all right, you're going to post that? What if Grandma saw that? What would she think? Oh, Grandma wouldn't like that. Okay, well then we don't need everyone else to see it. Set all your social networking accounts to private. And that's why it's important to have that conversation. Because if you shut the door and say, no, you can't have that, they're going to go have it, and then they're going to open it up. So, fine, you want a Facebook page, you're 12 years old, you're 13 years old, you and I will share a Facebook page. Everything that you have, I will see. Everything you post, I will see. And your settings will be private. And I will control those settings. And I will log you in, and I will log you out. But you are not getting online on your own time. Because we're going to learn how to do this thing called social media together. Because I love you. If you find something that you don't like, be proactive. Teach your kids to be advocates for each other. So that if they're online, so many times they're the bystander who views a post, views a video, and then just lets it go because I don't want to get involved. Just as easily as they would post a ha-ha, get the popcorn emoji, that would then feed into the negativity, post a, this is not cool, man, angry face emoji. And that's that easy. And now they've stood up for someone that maybe you never know with these kids. We hear horror stories all the time about cyberbullying and what it can do to the psyche of children. If we can teach our children to once a day stand up for what's right online, then we can prevent a lot of the tragedies that we have seen throughout the country. And then be cautious in posting or blogging about anything too controversial. Listen, there are things that the world doesn't need to know about you, that you only need to know about you, and that your boyfriend down the road in college or your girlfriend or your spouse needs to know about you. The world doesn't need to know these things. I don't need to know these things. Let's keep them to yourself. Put them in a journal, a personal blog, so to speak. You don't need to post it for the world. So what can we do as parents? Begin in home discussions what is considered appropriate. Sounds easy, but they need these resources. Turn on flipping through the channels. A movie comes on. There's something on, maybe a gory scene in a movie, and you've got your 8, 10-year-old. Is this okay for you to watch? What do you think? No, it says TV 14, I can't watch it. And that might be the only thing that they have. Well, my friend watches it, it's awesome. I want to watch it. Well, let's talk about why it's not okay. Not because I don't want you to be cool. I want you to be cool and have fun with your friends, but I want you to watch this on History Channel instead. This is just as cool. Watching, America Pickers or whatever those shows are, Keep up with the issues that affect children and technology. Be aware. Come to meetings like this. Open dialogue. Utilize Twitter. Look for hashtags that talk about digital citizenship. See what's happening in the world. If you and I don't know what the hot songs are on the radio right now, we can't teach our kids what it means and how it's degrading towards X, Y, and Z. Because I promise you, 9 songs out of 10 are degrading somebody, unfortunately, today. If we don't know what the hot new movie is out there, or the hot new dance craze is, then our kids are going to do it behind our backs. And I know we may get labeled for trying to be too cool for them, but that's okay. Because when they're old, they'll remember that and they'll love that about us. Set boundaries for your children. You're going to have Facebook? With me. It's okay to tell them no. iPad, perfect example. You're going to bring that device to me, you're going to plug it in my room, and then you're not taking it out until it's time to do homework at the kitchen table where I'm watching you, and then at the end of the day, plug it into the morning. I know it's charged, I know where it is all night. Same thing with a phone. Just because we give them these devices doesn't mean we have to say, oh, well, it's theirs, I guess they can do what they want with it. And I kid you not, I have heard that on the phone. Mom, ma'am, your son did this. I just don't know what to do with him. He gets his iPhone, he just does whatever he wants. Take the phone. Take the phone. I can't do it, he takes it back. Okay, well, I don't know how to help you here. We need to have these conversations when they're at this age so that by the time they're at 14, 15, they know this is the line in the sand. And then provide alternatives to being on the computer, the cell phone, or the video games. Hey, you know what? You don't want to, for 1 hour of video games, you got to spend 1 hour with me. Okay? Or we'll do half and half, where I'll watch you play this video game, and then you got to watch me cook dinner and talk about the day. Or you're going to give me 15 minutes of telling me about the story you're reading in class, and then I'll give you 15 minutes of Instagram. And then trade-offs. Kids love it. We use it all the time, every day. You get 70% on this, I'm going to give you a Skittle. One Skittle. And I swear they'd move mountains for a Skittle. So, I mean, you give them 15 minutes of Instagram, those kids will be raking the yard. So how can I be a good digital citizen? Well, being aware. And that really is what I'm, talking about. Being a good digital citizen and being a good digital parent is about being in their lives. Not allowing them or assuming that they know what's right and what's wrong in the digital space. Because I'm afraid to go there myself. And that's really what we see. Parents are unsure of how to navigate, unsure of what to say and how to say it, and what's really okay and what's not okay. If you just say, it's okay, if it's okay in person, then it's okay online. If it's not okay in person, it's not okay online. That's a great place to start.